Sunday morning, the 19th of January, we got a phone call. I suppose you dread it. You see a number, you wonder what's going on, what's happening, and that person on the phone was in the area down here, working down here at the time, and they seen what looked like there was a dog attack. There was a good few sheep appeared to be in distress in the field, and looked as the sheep dead in the field. So we gathered ourselves together, the three of us, just myself, my wife Bridge and my daughter Eve. We came down here to, as we all described, and we've been describing over the last number of weeks, a scene of absolute devastation. You know, when we arrived into the farm and drove up the lane, looking in as we stand here into this field, seeing that the carnage that was about to face us when we got into the field was just, you know, even like a month later, it's hard to imagine the destruction, but it happened, and it was absolute devastation. We got in. There's a lovely pedigree lamb just inside the gate here, a hogget ram, big strong ram. He was shredded. His back was gone, his back end was gone, absolutely in pieces. That was the first part of it. And then when you walk down the field, and as Neve went down the field here, you know, coming back, his dad were down here, and there was another ewe. We call this the nursery field here because the ewes that were carrying the triplets were in here, and they were getting extra attention, getting special attention. And just that previous day, I put a ewe that was carrying twins in, and she was prolapsing. I put a harness on her the previous day, and her back end was completely eaten out of her, like dead. Like, it was just horrendous sights all around the field, and we thought it was just confined, and we'd seen a couple injured here. Didn't know the extent of their injuries. Neve had called Farney vets and carried them across to come out to tend to them, and then we realised that there was other sheep in another field were also injured. So it's only when we got ourselves together and seen what was happening, and then started to count them, and noticed there was sheep missing, and we found 4 in the drain. 3 of them, we got out straight away. One ewe, we needed assistance. She was on her back in the drain. Her back end was in the drain, and she was quite distressed. And yeah, no, it was an absolutely horrendous scene. The Garda Síochána came out. They were the first people to come to us on that Sunday morning. Absolutely fantastic. Didn't sit and take a statement in the car. Walked every single part of the farm with us. Looked at the destruction, looked at the deaths, looked at what was done to the sheep there and then. And then, you know, I have to say they were really, really fantastic, and went off and did as much as they could to check in the locality, check around, was there dogs around, and that was very comforting for us. And they came back and even spoke to us again, but it was just, and even a month later, devastation, and still is very hard to talk about.
Initially, when the attack happened, we kind of didn't really know where to turn, and I suppose Dad already spoke about An Garda Síochána coming out, and then Monaghan County Council sent the dog warden out the next day. And it was just a case of, when we were speaking to all of them, that we started to realise that, you know, maybe there's not that much awareness out there, that people aren't actually aware that these dog attacks are happening. So I decided to put a post on Facebook. It was a very graphic post and not something I did easily. I really had to think about what I was going to say and the photos I was going to put up, but I did. I shared very graphic images, and the amount of people from all across the country, every corner of Ireland, that messaged me back and said, oh, we had one last week, we had one last year, we had one 2 months ago, my neighbour had one. And it was like, the more messages were coming in, there was like hundreds of messages, and I was like, nobody's talking about it, nobody's really hearing about it. And I suppose that was, we talked about it at home when we were like, we'll have to do something to maybe raise a bit more awareness about it. So I thought, what better way than to maybe get some statistics and have those hard facts. So I sent out a sheep survey to all sheep farmers all over Ireland. The survey was completed by 558 sheep farmers, and of that 558 sheep farmers, 409 of them said yes, that they have had an attack on their farm. All we could think about was, imagine some of those farmers who are maybe farming full time, that this is their full source of income, this is their livelihood, and it being wiped out, as Dad said, within a matter of minutes. So I suppose that was the reason for that survey. Off the back of that survey, then I'm now going to send out another survey today to everybody again, anyone that had responded to say that they had a sheep attack. It's another anonymous survey, but it's just a little bit more detailed, you know, to find out maybe how many attacks have they had, you know, did they receive any compensation, was it covered by insurance, you know, did the people who own the dogs maybe compensate them in some way, and maybe find out, you know, a little bit more about the statistics of how many sheep in Ireland actually have been killed through dog attacks.
The purpose is that we can sit down with and we have done already with our local elected representatives and also with government, which we hope to do in the next few weeks. Sit down with government representatives and talk about change, how we're going to make change.